All right, everybody, welcome into the Fifth Dimension podcast. I'm Evan McDermott. I'm joined by co-host Jake Lynch in studio, and today we have a very special guest, Sean Hibbeler, documentary filmmaker, podcaster, researcher. Um, he's got fantastic films,
Thank you.
fantastic work. I think one of the prominent and most reliable researchers within the truth community as a whole, whether it's flat Earth, whether it's talking about certain narratives I don't even need to give name to.
The
Maybe
flu.
the flu. Exactly. The flu. I think people can insinuate what that means. Um, but Sean, such a pleasure to connect, man, and have you on the show.
Thanks. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. I hope that this goes over well with your audience. So let's give it a go.
Let's make it happen, man. And I think maybe just a good first question. If anybody who isn't familiar with your work, you can give maybe a little bit of intro of yourself. But I'm also curious myself. I come
Sure.
from an education background, so I got
Yeah.
the whole teacher indoctrination training, and I've seen the schools, and I've seen how people are programmed right off the bat. What it was for you to really one to just be willing to dive into research like this, and
Kind of
just sort
had
of
to,
what your
man.
entry
Well,
point was
yeah, I
to
mean,
get going.
I kind of had to. It was my calling. You can't fight your calling sometimes unless you're under evil hypnosis or something, like once you find your calling, you go all in. So like when I in 2015, that was the later half of my sports career, making sports. I was doing sports stuff, so highlight reels, scripts. I would send to pretty much all the wannabe ESPNs. There's a lot of them, and not Bleacher Report. I was making my way to Bleacher Report next. Like I was going up that ladder of little sports companies that are trying to make it. So I would make the best hype video that they ever hoped for their whatever team they're promoting, and they'd be like, "Oh my god, we have gold here." I'm like, "Yeah, just pay me, and you don't got to put my name on it. Just that's yours now. We're gonna Dr. Dre this." Like for people that don't know Dr. Dre, back in the day, he would go and buy beats from nobodies and pay him cash and put his name on it and say, "I made this," and he got popular. So I didn't want to do that effect. I just said, "Look, it's yours. You pay me, it's yours. I don't care." But I was such a sports head that, that's what I figured I'd do the rest of my life. Obviously, I still had a 9 to 5 back then too. So there was just no time for anything. Once I started to realize the truth of a realm that we live in, this plane of existence, I said I just couldn't, like, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, I need to make a Derrick Rose comeback video tonight. No, and it's like some sports thing, and I'm like, the energy wasn't there anymore. There's no passion. There was no. It was like I'm just like dragging video clips in of like slam dunks as I'm like thinking like, wait, did NASA lie though? What did Eric Dubay say? Like I watched this video a couple days ago, and I'm like, I like couldn't break that. So I was so addicted to the truth of where we live that I eventually I got in trouble with a lot of these companies. I wasn't working. I got let go, and I was still working for another company, and then I just quit them because I said I can't do both. There's no way I can't do both. And the 9 to 5 was barely paying the rent at the time.
Right.
And I knew that making videos on YouTube were not going to pay any bills, especially back then. So that's why it would take me like a year since, like, people would complain, like, when's your next video? It's been like 9 months. I'm like, I have no time. I don't make videos like others. Like I take months and months and months and months to do it. So, even like a 15, 20-minute short video, like I used to make back in the day, that would take almost a whole year because I had no time. So eventually I saw the impact I had, right? I saw this giant wave of impact, millions of people sharing and watching and buzzing about the stuff I'm making. And then someone like Bryce Mitchell to publicly say that realize, which is an old video I made years ago, that woke him up to the flat earth. So I saw this impact I had, like all these videos, 10, 20-minute videos I used to make. I said, man, people really want more from me. I said, I could tell people want, and I get messages all the time, like, you ever thought about going into feature films and making stuff like that? And then in my head, I'm like, how the heck am I supposed to pay my bills? I can't do that. It takes me this long to make a 20-minute video. I'm supposed to make an hour and a half film. Are you kidding me? And then travel and all that.
Right.
I'm like, but when the lockdowns happen, I said, this is a perfect opportunity, man. I said, everything's closed. I can't have a 9 to 5 right now anyways. So let's see where this brings me. And I started to focus on the lockdowns and the flu, we'll call it. And I started to put stuff together. I also did a film called Psychological Operation on George Floyd, that whole psyop. So that was kind of my first one where ODD TV, years ago, he sent me an older computer he had, like a media computer, which is way better than the crap I had. That was another thing too, is like my laptop was like ancient. So to make anything it took longer because of that on top of everything else. But when he sent me that computer, it was like an epiphany for me. And it's hard to determine like, hey, how do you charge people for stuff that is supposed to be free and true? And the truth should be free. So I figured out a way where I can make full feature films. I can do small fundraisers every year, really small, 10 grand, 20 grand, small. You're talking about a movie, guys. It costs millions. Okay.
Yeah.
So small budget, very independent, that Woodstock feel, or not Woodstock. I'm sorry, I forgot the name, but just that independent vibe where it's just my audience is on board, right? Like people that like my work and be like, here's $1, right? Here's $2. I want you to go to these hotels and fly and get these people in the film and go to Florida, go to NASA, go to Texas, go to the Scientific Balloon Center. All that costs money, guys, unfortunately. Okay. I wish it was free too. I do. But the community responded quickly. Not as quick as necessary, unfortunately, for this last project, but Tanner Stewart, who I made the executive producer, he threw $5 grand in at the very end, which helped tremendously. Book Florida trip, book 2 other trips. So that was huge at the end there, because that was near. People are like, oh, well, it's almost funded, whatever. No. Like all that's accounted for. That the budget of 20,000 for Level With Me was like half of what it cost to make. Wow. I'll be honest. That's just half. And it's just like, hey, can you guys help me out with like half of this? Because like I don't even have a job. And they did though, so I'm not complaining. So I'm very fortunate that the last couple of years, these small fundraisers have been funded, really, because that shows me that the people know I'm not in this for money. The people know this stuff costs money. It's very low. Everybody gives a couple bucks. You don't have to. But what I did with people back the last 2 years now, guys, is if you donated to the fundraisers so I can get the project going, you get the film for free. So technically it's like you donate early, you're getting the free film. Like, so you're buying your film now, basically. Right. So I always try to set up I don't have to, man. There's things like I see fundraisers all the time. There's no reward. There's nothing involved. It's just like donate and move on with your life. And I'm the same way on my website, hibbelerproductions.com. People are like, hey man, where can we donate? We love your work. We love the, no. Don't, there's a donate button. It's there. Don't do that. Go to films, pick one you like. Most of them are $2. Pick a topic you don't know about or you want to learn about. I made a film on it. And there's your donation, because now you gave me your $2 or your $5 for the feature films, and you're getting something back. You're not just getting, and I respect the people that just give me money and walk away. That's crazy. But I like to be the one to be like, hey man, you're always going to be able to get something back. And even when I've released the film in 4K, premiering on, different apps and stuff, and people are, oh my God, I got to pay for this. Like, yeah. Remember your whole life when you wanted to watch a movie that was coming out and then you saw the trailer on TV and then you spent $30 in a day at the movie theater without even blinking, without even saying, we're supporting Hollywood and pedophilia. No, you didn't say that. You don't even know who you're supporting. You're supporting your needs in, I got to see Fast and Furious and I want some fucking popcorn. That's what you're doing. You don't care. There's no, oh, come on, Vin Diesel. Oh, come on, man. It's supposed to be free. No one thought about that. But as soon as something like this comes out, it's like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah, it's because I have a resume of free stuff my whole life, 7 years straight. But I had a job, guys. So I broke that chain. I said, I can't do both. Especially feature films. No way. No one can. Ask Quentin Tarantino. Are you going to have a 9 to 5 about making a movie? No, the fuck out of here. It's just the point. You can't do that. But I'm a one-man team. I want your audience to realize that. I don't have a team. I don't have a sound guy, a color guy. You do the mastering of the audio. You do this. You do the lighting. Dude, it's all me. So it gets even harder and more difficult and more stressful. And then all the pressure's on you in the editing chair where it's like, you better come up with something good. You get one paycheck a year. You better make it good or you have nothing. So it's hard because it's like you get it from I get it from every angle, but I try to stay focused and I realize that there's always going to be people in the background yappity yapping about the truth should be free. Why are you charging $5 for this? We all have I can give you the answers to that a million times over. So I just try to block those out because I realize the bigger focus for me is the people that are supporting, the people that are already showing up to rent it and say, oh, we're going to rent it 10 times if we can. You're amazing. Your films are amazing. We want to give these rentals, these digital rentals for presents and stuff. I've gotten emails like that. I'm like, Jesus, thank you. And it's the fact of the matter is that our whole lives we've been used to renting movies, renting films.
Right.
There shouldn't be any difference, guys. There shouldn't be any difference. This is my full-time job. And it's a very niche community to promote to, the truthers, right? And but people like me need truthers support. We need your support. We can't keep going. And if you want feature films, if you want films to show your cousin at Thanksgiving or some shit where you're like, dude, you're not into this, but now I got something. Like, we have to make films and documentaries in a professional setting, in a realistic setting. No, hit pieces like Netflix does to films, like real authentic films on certain topics that can change someone's life. Because I have the emails to prove it. Changing people's lives daily. Yep. That's what I do. And I'll continue to do it. So the people that whisper in the background, whispers about money, until money's, I'd rather barter in this world that we live in. That's my vote, because I have a lot of things to offer, and I'm sure other people have things to offer that I can't do. So I'm all about that. But until that's efficient again, I can't control the system we live in, folks. I have bills too. So yeah, when I work for 10 months and edit and travel and go to hotels and get car rentals and drive 4 hours in it just to get one little thing, one framing shot of something, it gets ridiculous on your own, guys. And everything starts adding up. So yes, every dollar that came in with that GoFundMe counted. Like, I get like a $2 donation. I'm like, oh my God, 2 more of those I can eat today. Nobody knows the struggle. They don't know. They just see the end result and they're like, that's a good film, man. That's all they do. And they don't see the beginning, the during, the after, how much money it costs to even get it out there, on these platforms. It's not like free. You think these platforms are, all of them are like, yo, we can't wait to put this truth on our platform. Like, no, you have to pay for distribution. You have to pay for marketing. So it gets difficult, guys. But anyone that's never heard of me up to this point, I'm a filmmaker. I've been doing this since late 2015. As I explained before, with the short videos. And then the lockdown just kind of kicked me in that position where it's like, it's now or never, man. If you want to do this the rest of your life, you got to just do it. And you got to stop worrying about haters in the background, being like, why are you charging now? Why do you have a paywall on stuff? Until you could say, why don't you have any bills? That's when I can eliminate this stuff, or I can go get a 9-to-5 and never do this shit again. I don't know. I think my audience votes for me to keep going. That's all.
Yeah. And it's hard to live a life of truth when you don't want to do that 9-to-5, right? Like, if you're constantly seeking truth, and I've been listening to you for years, Sean, you say that I was put in this realm to show everybody the truth and show everybody what is really going on behind the scenes, right? And how can you even have passion about anything, working a 9-to-5 or a 2-to-10, whatever, 40-hour weeks? How can you even have passion on it? It's just hard. It's so hard. Yeah.
I agree. It is hard, because the people just, again, the audience, society, they don't know. They just see from afar. Oh, hey, here's this guy that used to give us free 20-minute videos that would change paradigms. Oh, now he's making 1.5-hour full feature films. Took him a year to make it. Why is he charging a couple bucks? It's bullshit. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's very hypocritical. It's stupid. And again, it's just a very minority group that comes in and jabs my ears with garbage and rhetoric. And some people probably in the community look from afar and go, oh, okay, listen. Same thing when people judge Dave Weiss. Why do you charge $3 for your Flat Earth app? I'm like, have you seen his server bills? If you saw server bills, you'd be like, Dave, you should charge $5 probably. You should start charging $5, maybe 10, maybe $10
is a cup of coffee. People will buy a cup of coffee every day.
Maybe $10 for like this. I'm like, I don't know how he survives, let alone me complaining. So, but people just don't know. They just see something. They're like, oh, He said it's $5 for the movie. Oh, he said it's $3 for that. Oh, he said it's only $1 for that. Oh, those people, write them off. It's like, listen, we're in a society, a day and age that everything costs money. And I'm in California, so I'm going to tell you how much it's expensive to live in a 500 square foot box.
Right.
Okay.
I grew up in Southern California. I know all about that too much. Yeah, right next to the airport. So I totally hear you.
And I won't be here forever. But some things are out of your hands at times. You can't just get up and go. Not every time. It's not how it works. So eventually, yeah, I won't be here much longer. It's too expensive, man. The weather's cool. I got a lot of connections out here, people out here I know. You know, I would miss Eddie Bravo for sure. I would miss my buddy Johnny. There's people out here that, you know, I have friends out here, but it's a waste of money. And you know, Hollywood's too close to like. I mean, it's like it just smells bad once you drive down.
Right in the center, right in the epicenter for the I would say the deception. To put it mildly, I could use a lot worse words than that to describe Hollywood. But no,
the devil's playpen.
The devil's playpen. I like that. I think that's what I'm going to use for when I run out. I like that.
Yeah. So when you're someone like me, you don't want to live by the devil's playpen, near the devil's playpen for too long.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're up in Montana, up in Bozeman, Montana, and
you guys are good,
even here, it's funny because in Bozeman they call it Bos Angeles, and so we're starting to see how the devil's playpen it's expanding outward into the other parts of society. I mean, I'm from the East Coast, you know, I'm from the Boston area, and so I've seen
Boston. Okay, I'm from Chicago, bro. I'm from Chicago.
Oh, okay. So
born and raised. So this Cali thing's a new, you know, 5-6 years now only. So I'm born and raised in Chicago. So thoroughbred Chicago.
Gotcha.
That's why I don't need this shit. I'm used to the worst weather of all time growing up. So you know, it's like, hey, I've been blessed for 5-6 years, but like, you know, I don't mind Texas weather. I don't mind Florida weather. There's other weather patterns, seasons that are okay, to livable at least.
Right.
I was gonna say,
plus Texas is just, you know, I'm all about let's go. So I mean, you know, can't do that in California.
No, sir.
Can't be buying those and walking around and stuff, you know. So it's like Texas is one of those spots where it's like pure freedom. Yeah. Do what you want, buy land, do whatever you want. No one's gonna bother you. No one's gonna bug you. And if they pull the electric grid on the country and we have a blackout, not Texas, they have their own power grid. And if they blacked us out, we could walk there and plug ourselves back in. There's thousands of electric brokers. You don't need to rely on that. If anyone's gonna break the free energy out to the public again, it would be Texas, because most of those brokers, they know that that's free. Yeah. So you got thousands of brokers in Texas versus most states of the country, one broker. You got to pay one company your electricity bill. So they're all playing ball. But Texas, I don't think there could be a blackout in Texas, because there would be actual people that can be held responsible, and they will be held responsible by Texans. Right. They will show up and say, what the fuck you doing? Why are my lights not on? It's not a federal government thing. They can't, I don't know the government. No. It's your building, and we're going to walk in and plug ourselves back in. Fuck you. So there's a difference. The federal government doesn't have much power over Texas like people might think. So
right, exactly. I think it's about finding those spaces that are free, and surrounding yourself with the people who are like-minded. It's been nice to come out to Montana, find people who are like-minded, find freedom community in a space that values freedom. Now, I mean, negative 30 degrees in the winter is a little bit brutal, but
but again, I'm from Chicago, so I'm used to that.
You get it.
I don't want that ever again, though. I'm not going to have that ever again. I'm not going to go anywhere that has that shit ever again. Okay, migration was legit, people. Get the fuck out. People migrated for a reason. Oh, it's negative 30? Yeah, well, I have work in the morning. No, they didn't. They're like, let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Yeah,
and that's it.
We're getting out of here. Right. No need.
Now we're trapped. Now we're trapped, quote unquote trapped. But no, anybody can go at any time. The goal in life is to find something you're good at, find a way to do it from home or do it yourself. You don't need any boss. You don't need anyone signing a check for you. You sign your own fucking checks. If you could figure out a way to do that, do it. And so that's what I did on lockdown time. I said, they're setting me up. And I don't mean the powers to be. I mean the universe. They're setting me up for success. And to take a chance, and
Right.
Sure.
I couldn't like turn my back on that chance.
For
And
sure.
it was like a shiny road in front of me that's like, this one's gonna be slippery, man. This one's gonna be scary. You're gonna have some haters because I never had any. You're gonna have, you know, people talking shit. You're gonna get backlash. You're gonna probably get introduced to people that you shouldn't be even affiliated with because of the path. And yeah, I've been introduced to people. I'm like, oh God. And then within 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, I don't want to be connected with them. I can tell their aura, their vibration is completely fake and off, and ooh, and I don't want to say shilly, but just something
Yeah.
off, something not setting right with their eyes. I look in eyes, and I feel with the handshake.
Mhm.
The type of person. I know it sounds like I'm a crazy person, but
No, dude,
I
do the same
Not at
thing.
all. Energy
Yeah.
doesn't lie, man.
a lot of people in this game, bro, that a lot of people on this pedestal of what people call truthers,
Yeah,
a lot of fakes in this.
absolutely. Well, nah,
Without, I don't even say names. I don't need to say names because
well,
I don't
that's
care about, I don't care. I just focus on me. But a lot of fakes in this game, and I'm sick of it. So that's why I feel like I just got to keep coming harder with films and projects, so I can literally climb up that mountain and step on them on the way up, because they think they're top dogs because, you know, X, Y, or Z. You're phony, bro. Like, you will get stepped on soon. Don't worry, I'm coming. Don't worry about it.
I was gonna say. I think character and truth is always revealed in the end. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I live by the idea the eyes are the window to the soul. So if you look into somebody's eyes and you feel something off, there's probably something off, right? There's
There
always
is,
just
yeah.
trust in the intuition. You got to really trust. You got to know yourself first
Yeah.
and foremost to actually even have the courage to follow that. And
It's a good point.
I guess
Yeah, if you don't know
understand that.
yourself, you're going to be misled for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, that kind of speaks to a bigger point and something we could dive into maybe. You know, a lot of people just don't know themselves, which is why they're able to be so misled in terms of just societal agendas, indoctrination, you know, the truth about the earth. Where is it that we're actually living? And the more I'm diving into flat earth personally, this has sort of been a new venture within the past year. And I've, you know,
Oh,
I've been
good.
into the
Okay.
conspiracies, and I've been into, you know, right off the bat when the flu started.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, you sniffed it out. I sniffed it out. BS. All right, come on. You know, so I've been really exploring topics for the last 3 or 4 years, but I'm looking at, you know, the globe model, for example.
Yeah.
And that feels like almost a foundation for all of the societal deception, because it, you know, I mentioned I come from the education background, and then it all comes back to indoctrination and how we're brainwashed, the mindset, and all of that. So, I mean, maybe could you speak to why the flat Earth model is sort of that centerpiece, and why it connects a lot of, it almost feels like the center of the puzzle in a lot of different ways, and maybe why that is, and how people can actually uh, approach it from that lens, and really,
Sure.
I'd say, take it a little bit more. I don't know. A
Well,
lot of
first
people,
of
you
all,
say flat Earth, and they don't even
yeah,
take it seriously.
well, when you go up to anyone in the street in society, and you say, hey, what, have you heard that people think the earth's flat? Oh, we know it, but you know, just for the intents and purposes, have you heard that people think the earth's flat? And they would say, yeah. There's no one nowadays in 2023 is going to say, what are you talking about? It's
Right.
The damage was done in 2015. It's you know, it's there. It's concrete. The ripple effect happened. Everybody knows. Now, their thoughts on it are, you know, different, but they heard of it. But when you ask the general public what they think it is, they usually default to what Google fed them, and or Netflix fed them, right? So it's just a disc in space, right? A snow globe, I call it a snow globe that's just there, and you could fall off the side or whatever, you know, whatever the case may be. So it's idiocracy, to say the least, the flat Earth model that people come up with in their head, because that's the picture that was painted. Though that's what was painted in kindergarten when they showed everybody the flat Earth that people used to think, and it was a pancake with people falling off, and in the bottom was a globe, and they're like, this is what we found out, it's the truth, you know, and all this. So as they get you at a young age, they teach you two false models. Okay, The flat earth that they show us in school and on Google and on, Netflix specials, whatever they're doing, that's not what anyone has ever said about where we live. So that's a red flag in itself for anyone trying to wake up to it or questioning it or like, how am I supposed to figure this out? You can't anymore, unfortunately. You can't go to YouTube and type in flat earth and get anything to help research the real truth of this matter. They already hijacked it in 2016, 2017. The algorithm's been changed. Big shifts have happened in algorithm and censorship because of flat earth. People think it's not, but when you look at these posts from back in the day where Congress is saying that anything relating to the event in New York in September in 2001, anything related to that event, any schools, right, or flat earth will be banned and censored and shadow banned and heavily censored and Wikipedia box and all this stuff. They included flat earth into all those reports. Even in Congress, they're talking about flat earth. That's a problem. So if you think the earth's a globe and you don't think it's a problem that they're censoring, flat earth, that's stupid. That's hilarious. The earth's flat. Okay. Well, why is it being censored then? You should, if I made up a theory, let's call it hollow earth. Not to pick on them, but if I made up hollow earth or if I made up donut earth or if I made up, the earth's a heart shape and I got a following about it, they're not censoring me. I'm not getting a Wikipedia box for that bullshit. But the earth's a flat level plane that's stationary and we're at the center and the sun, moon, and stars are a clock system in the sky going around our head. It's like, oh, we have to censor that. Well, who are we hurting? What do you mean? I get the September stuff, even though there's truth to all of it, that it's faulty and psyop. I get it. And that why they want to cover it up. Well, yeah, protect your fucking ass. I mean, everybody knows that.
Truth to it, of course.
Yeah, everybody knows that day was jacked, bro. Like, and I don't mean hijacked. I mean that day was all messed up.
That day, 7 buildings fell, right? Was
seven buildings fell.
And I only recollect like 2. Let me think. There was the 2 planes that hit the Twin Towers, and then you have that
did they?
third
Did you see any? I didn't see any. You saw some airplanes.
4 buildings, right? Like, it's just there's so much unknown there. Anyways,
I'll be careful on YouTube, but re-examine if there was airplanes, brother. Just go re-examine that yourself. Do slow motion.
Yeah,
that's all. And the people that go, no, I was there, I saw an airplane. Yeah, the holograms have been out since the 60s. I don't understand why you think it's new technology. They've had probably before the 60s, probably in the Tartaria days they had holograms. Our whole past is a lie. Everything about our history is a lie. See, people want to, that's another thing they can't break is like, oh, the flat earth. Well, we've known for thousands of years that it's a ball. It's like, really? You got the time machine?
20, right?
Yeah, right.
Rockefellers. Yeah,
exactly. But it's one of those things.
The word you used, you said history. Yeah. His story, right? Like, it's Rockefeller's story. He wanted a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers. I love breaking those words down. His story, history, right? Like, it's just, it's in everybody's faces, and they don't want to look at it, So.
Well, even flat earthers and some of the top tier guys that you would call top tier flat earthers, they disagree with me, most of them on that, and that's fine, and I want the same respect as I respect them and for their opinion. Your opinion, meaning them, your opinion is that Robotham was real, Columbus was real, Copernicus was real, Galileo was real. All these characters were real. Now, again, Robotham is a flat earth scientist. I get it. So they use these stories against each other. Like, look, they were doing flat earth tests in the 1800s and it proved this. And it's a 6-mile test. 6 miles? What kind of weak ass test do they give us in history? That's all they give us. Yeah, there was a guy that was a flat earther. He had a 6-mile test. It's like, 6 miles? I could see 10 miles right now. What does that do for anyone? But I get it. For me, it's like, it's a Masonic religion where they come together. They find this Freemason buildings, right? Free. It's all free. It's all inherited through the people that were just here. And they're like, dude, we got all this stuff. Like, we can't let the future of humanity, of the melting pot that's being molded right now, coming into this, to the center of the world, we can't let them know about more land on the outside, the North Pole land. We can't let them know about, that all these buildings were free, that these people before us were more advanced than like, we have to cover all this shit up. We got to create things. I feel like they created like the Western versus Indian movement. Like they everything was theater, and they would film these things. You see these old films from the early 1900s. It looks like actors, like cut, go. And then like, they're all walking and crossing one another. Like what the
Yep.
fuck is going on? Who? I'm like, okay, that was like a bad Hollywood set. Like they got to cut and then do it again. But they're pulling that off as like, no, that's just, we're just walking down the street. Well, why are there 8,000-foot fucking cathedrals behind you with doorways made for 30-foot people?
Giants, right?
And these little guys on horse and buggy, like, you didn't make that. You want me to think you guys, like, would you stack all the horses up and then like figure out stone? Like, what did you do to make that? There's no story behind that. That's my next project, by the way, something on that topic. But it's one of those things where everything is a lie. Once you realize that everything's a lie, everything you were taught's a lie, and then everything that you were told's the truth is definitely a lie. I mean, they're coming at you with dinosaurs, outer space, evolution, the Big Bang Theory. And again, you go back to 1920, Big Bang Theory invented. Board of Education started by Rockefeller. It's all there, but people still look at me and go, yeah, you're crazy for thinking that the 1800s they weren't doing, or even the 1700s, that they weren't doing flat globe all the time. I don't think so. I'm sorry. I might be on my own there. That's fine. I don't think so, man. I just don't. I feel like it was coming into public schools in the mid 1900s. They were fighting it eventually because they were still teaching flat Earth in public school. They still had the Gleason's map in every library. As far as my research goes, through the 40s and into the 50s even, and some into the 60s, we're still teaching it. And eventually, wow. Rockefeller, I mean, if you're not being funded by him and his Goonies, then you're going to be closed anyways. You're not going to make it without him, without his programs, right? And free lunches, which is just garbage chemicals. So it's like all that stuff for me, it's like I could see that happening, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, technically people could have been talking about the globe in the 1800s, early 1800s. Sure, that doesn't really affect me one way or the other. Either way, it was forced down the education's throat without any verifiable evidence. No one even went up there to check what we live on until 1969, technically, right? The moon landing.
I guess, that was Operation Dominic too, when they sent all those missiles up into the air. I mean, that was the very first, piece of evidence that turned me into like, wait, is space real or is space not? I remember I was in the Marine Corps and I had a friend of mine send me some stuff who's also in the Marine Corps. He sent me videos of Operation Dominic, and I couldn't consciously comprehend what I was watching. I just I couldn't understand it. It took me a while to finally understand it. So yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Operation Dominic was a big one because that was, I think, like when they put Picard up there in the 30s, I think he went up 10 or 15 miles, which is huge. That was the biggest achievement of all time back then. He had some balls. He came down, and he's like, yeah, it looks like a flat disc with upturn edges, no curvature down.
Like the horizon's rising to your eye level.
Yeah, and the light bends up, So he's just like, it just looks like a flat disc with upturn edges. And they're like, that's going to be a problem. Okay, let's move on. What do we do here? And then they said, okay, well, if we can't get up by balloon, we don't know what to do. So they started shooting missiles up to see if it, maybe it'll just keep going forever and ever and ever. Then they'll go do some more tests. That shit stopped. I mean, it hit a barrier. My guess is 73 miles up, just like everything else goes up 73 miles. But I don't know. They shot him up and it spread and hit, it's like it spread out. It's what it looks like when you hit something, right? If it just kept going, it would just disappear. It would blow up on its own and keep going up and out, right? This thing goes up and it stops and it just spreads across something, right? So they're probably like, fuck, we can't get out at all. Okay, well, we got to fake it. We can't keep having this ball without something. I feel like they were lost. They didn't even know. Because think about Universal, the movie company. Dun 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 dun, right? We all see it. Yeah, we all see that. But that, for your audience that doesn't know, that intro, even though it was black and white, it was out in the 20s, guys.
Yep.
So again, back to the 20s here. So how are they showing you a globe spinning with the continents exactly where they still are in a 2023 movie? Okay, with the super high def globe coming in now. Right. But back in the day, it's the same thing. So from 1923 or 20 to today, they've shown you this ball, but they didn't check till the 60s what it actually was. Who knows what Africa looked like from up there, or Europe, or they knew in the 20s somehow without any evidence. And then you got those events in between those times, in between even Picard and NASA starting.
Right.
You have events where I'm sorry, not Captain Cook. That was hundreds of years before. I'm sorry, Admiral Byrd.
Admiral Byrd,
So
yes, sir.
yeah, Admiral Byrd. You know, back in the day, Captain Cook tried to circumnavigate Antarctica. Now, for the audience that thinks you live on a ball, Antarctica is a little white stain on the bottom of the ball. Okay, it's a little spot, right? So with that little spot on the bottom of your basketball that you believe in, that you love, you should know, you probably don't because you went to public education, which is why you think this, which is why you believe this to begin with, because you went there, but you don't remember because you went there. The globe, the equator, 24,000 miles in circumference. Okay. So the fattest, biggest, widest circumference part of that ball is the equator. Yes or no?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
24,000 miles.
Mm-hmm.
The little white peninsula on the bottom of the ball, that can't be 24,000 miles, obviously, right? It's got to be what, 8,000 maybe
Right,
10.
something way less. Mm-hmm.
I'll give them 10. I'll be nice. I'll give them, that's 10,000 miles to circumnavigate that little white thing on the bottom. Well, Captain Cook charted 68,000 miles and couldn't get in by ship. So obviously, it's obvious at that point. We all know that he traveled around the world and came back to where he started from, just like you can ride your bike around your block and come back to where you started from. Your house is not a sphere because you did that, guys. So yeah, he circumnavigated around the actual world. The container of our world oceans is Antarctica, the highest landmass on Earth. It holds our water, and it's a giant bathtub. I don't know what you call the world. It's a giant, it's contained. Water's contained. All the land's in the center, sitting there like normal. So Admiral Byrd came later on. They knew they couldn't get in by ship, at least successfully. They didn't want to take a chance at any inlands being melted or whatever. So they're like, just fly over there. So Admiral Byrd flew over there, and he came back months later and said, hey, there's another continent over there, the size North America. No one's ever seen it. There's animals, resources. There's who knows. And I always make the joke when you get that report from all my life. I know you guys have had to see this, where you just see that random article in the paper or something back in the day that's like, new bug discovered, right? New bug. Never seen this bug before. Never seen this bird. What kind of fucking squirrel is this? Whatever I'm saying, like, whatever the case may be, you're like, oh shit, what the fuck is this thing? Well, there's more land. Right. Bing, 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 and that's why there's some animals. If you look at the world map that we know now, there's some animals that there's only some of them that come in only one part of a continent. Right. That's it. Where are they coming from? How'd they get there? Like, why won't they keep coming? Why can't Illinois get some of them? Like, no. It's because they live in the outer lands, in my opinion, and some of them make their way over here once in a while. I don't know, but there's too many red flags to keep saying it's a speculation that there's more land. I think there is more land, and I feel like it's hard, man, because it's like we have our senses, and the only sense that I can't utilize to discover more land is my eyes. That's it. There's no other senses. All my other senses tell me that they're hiding it. So I look at that as like a high ratio of confidence to say they're hiding land in the north. I think there's 4 continents in the four land masses in the north, which is, in my opinion, more important to humanity to go there than the south. But I do still think we need to go check past 60th parallel as humanity, because we don't know. People that give me shit like, you act like there's other suns and moons, and no, I don't. I never do. I always flirt with the idea for one reason: interest, public interest. Don't you want to go see? What if there was a blue sun over there? The sun was blue, and the human beings that lived over there had blue skin. Call them Smurfs. I'm just saying, though, I'm just making it up. But my point is, how would you know? Again, it's always going to be speculation, but you have to gain the public's interest. If my goal was to get millions of people to march to the north and the march to the south, millions at once, wouldn't I need to spark their interest first? Wouldn't I need to plant some seeds or speculate a little to help nudge their mind? If I just say there's a treaty, we don't know what's over there. Nah, It's just
People see
probably
that and they're not
penguins.
interested, right?
Just pengins. No one cares. When you
Yeah.
start showing them old ancient maps with more land, when you start showing them the north, the Hyperborea, all the ancient stories, the magnetic, everything. You can get stories. I mean, the Iron Republic, the worlds beyond the poles. Create their interest.
Right.
Look
Mount
at this
Meru,
book.
where do those green lights come from in the sky? Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Correct. You have to create their interest.
Mhm.
We need to go north and south. We can get millions of people to do each tomorrow. The government's collapse the next day.
So
Yeah.
true.
It's over.
Yeah,
It's over, but no one actually cares for some reason. And the public don't care because Japan just discovered 7,000 new islands.
Yeah.
It's public
Yeah.
information. Google it.
Right.
Oh, 7,000 new islands discovered. No one's ever seen them before.
Mhm.
Come on. Are you kidding me?
7,000. Yeah, that's
But no one cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So if I feel like CNN can press release tomorrow, 7 more actual continents are found. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing.
I care.
I've been thinking a lot about the why aspect in a sense of how do you get people to really care about this? Why is it that it even, because a lot of people are going to say, oh, why does it even matter what's in
right.
the
I have to go
north?
to work tomorrow.
I got to go to work tomorrow. I got to do this. I got to do that. My life is going to continue. But, I've been really diving into that. And I think when you start to realize why are they hiding this land? It's to perpetuate scarcity. It's to keep people in such a low vibrational state where we're fighting over resources and fighting one another, and we're debt slaves to the government. And the whole system is really reliant upon this foundational model we've already created, where we've already done all the exploring we can. We can't discover more in this realm. There's nothing left for you to explore. Right. Sit down, go to work, survive,
pay your taxes.
And so as soon as you actually say, wait a minute, we can be the explorers, we can go uncover more parts of this realm, it blows the lid off of all of the systems that we currently have in place, which is I think exactly
tyranny.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly what the
well, think about it. If there's there's 7 publicly known continents in this world. Okay, 7 publicly known. I'm sure they wish it was only 5 or 6, but it's 7. 7 continents we know of. Okay, there could be more in our world that are known worlds.
Who's out exploring the oceans?
Yeah, it could be more land that we just don't know about. But either way, out of the 7 continents, if you lived on one continent, which you do. You live on one continent out of 7, and all 7 are controlled. All 7 are lab rat experiments. If I was to tell you that there's 300 continents in this world, okay, and outside of those 7, although the rest of those continents some of them might have civilizations there still that you can't really just be a part of necessarily, but I'm sure there's tons of land that you can buy. You could not even buy. You could just have 100 acres to yourself. Right. And build a house and live there the rest of your life. Would that matter to you? That's the thing. The people that say I still got work in the morning and doesn't matter, it does matter, because you would not have work in the morning. You don't need work. You're in a system that makes you work just to buy your food.
In the Matrix.
You have to work 40 to 50 hours a week to have a roof over your head and to eat, and that's it. So you spend all your time in the system. By the time you get home, you finally have the money to eat, and then the rest of your money you save for your rent. Okay, that's the structure of a typical American. And then they take 30 to 40% of your income the whole year, and they give you back a little $1,000 check, and you want to celebrate. That makes no sense. Keep your money. That's my advice. Go exempt. Fuck them. Why are you giving your money to the federal government, to NASA, to wars, to chemtrail distribution, to the things that you think, that's going to the roads and the school and the firemen? No, that's state. I still don't think you have to pay that. I think you should if you want to. Okay. If you're not a hypocrite, you like your roads and all that, and your schools and the clean and all that. Okay. And then pay the state tax. That's fine. Federal? No, man. 12 years now, and I'll never do it again. I don't give a fuck. They come knock on my, no one's knocking on my door. What are you going to take? What do you take from me? My PlayStation I have somewhere? What do you got? That's my point. Unless you have Ferraris and yachts and $1 million in assets, you don't play ball with them. You don't play. You don't work at Foot Locker 9 to 5 and get your $500 paycheck at the end of the week, and you give them $100 for what? What did they do? They did nothing. They're stealing it from you. But people think, well, if I don't do this, I'm going to go to jail. That makes no one has ever gone to jail for not paying labor taxes. It's illegal. You can't. It's something that they threw in, I think in the 70s, I believe. I could be wrong. But it's just a George Bush creation. It's something that they came up with, these private organizations, the IRS, whoever. They're private. They're not going to come to your house. They hope you play ball because they know universally 90% of the country plays ball. So they're making billions and trillions of dollars. You think they care about little old me that has not played ball for 12 years? No one's coming, because if they knock on my door, it will be documented, and I will make videos on how to get away with this stuff. They don't want to fuck with me. So leave me alone. That's it. And they'll leave you alone too. No one's going to knock on your door and say, hey man. But the point I'm trying to make is you got to stop going to H&R Block every year. You got to stop. All of that is a game. Don't play it. Go to your HR person if you have a job and say, starting next paycheck, I want to be exempt. I want to be exempt from all federal taxes. Don't be scared. I'm 12 years living, guys, in this. So you can go the first 12 days is the point. Like, don't be scared. You're going to get, now that paycheck's going to have, $40 off because of state taxes. Sorry, I got a leaf blower out here if you guys can't hear me.
That's all right.
Might be a minute.
That's
you guys can take it over for now since I'll mute.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna.
You guys talk for 1 minute about what I said. I'll come right back.
For sure, man. Well, that's crazy. I'm gonna be definitely going over to my employer at the next paycheck and say, hey, I didn't even take me out of the make me federally exempt.
Right.
But that's the thing though. You can't be scared. I've changed maybe 12 to 15 people's lives over that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's been, and for them too, it's been years. I got one letter the first year. I got one letter from the IRS the first year I said, fuck them. And it said, and I quote, "We think you made a mistake. Please hand this blank W-2 to your HR to help them fill it out. If not, if you don't comply with this request," by the way, for that year, this was years ago, I think I kept like 15 grand, right? Like 15 of those 15 grand I made would have already been in their hands. That would have already been theirs, but I have it. So now they want some of it. And that's the exemption. I'm like, no, I'm not going to give you any of it. So instead of giving them 15 grand throughout the year that they stole, and then they give me back a grand or two, right? I kept it all. And I said, you're not getting any. And that's completely legal. The only thing they could, I'm not even going to pretend like they could do anything. I'm sorry, man. They can't. There's nothing they can do. There's not even a law that they can recite to you that says, no, you have to pay your labor to the federal. There's none. There's nothing.
I'm going to do that starting my next paycheck too. It's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, changing lives with the truth.
There you go.
Well, and it just goes to show you, it's like it reminds me of like a mafia. You know, you have the local mafia boss come into the businesses and say, hey, time to pay up. And, you're almost paying for this false sense of security, if you will. And you see in the news, they talk about the IRS hiring 80,000 new agents, and these agents are armed. So they throw out this, even in, you hear in the truth and freedom community, people talking about that and taking it really seriously. It's a fear tactic, and it works on both ends. The passive person who is happy to pay for their schools and their roads and fund the government, and
it's all state though, but that's state.
Yeah. Well, and the people who are happy to give up 60% of their paycheck for some, I don't know, the idea of free health care or whatever, whatever they're promised, right? And then you have the people on the opposite end where they pay because they don't want to go to jail, right? But they see that it's a racket. They see that it's a mafia.
No, that's the thing though. The people that are afraid of jail time with taxes, you're talking business taxes now. You're talking you formed an LLC or something and you made millions of dollars and you're like, fuck you guys, you're not getting none of this. Okay. Now you're talking about they can shut your business down.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you file bankruptcy and you open a new LLC. Oh my God, you just beat the system. Here's the thing, man. You could play their game if you're scared, But once you stop playing their game, you notice that wasn't scary. That's conditioning. Movies, TV shows, IRS is coming tomorrow and knock on your door and take you to prison. And no. And again, if you're making millions of dollars, business, yeah, you should probably play ball in a sense. I get it because, you know, there's sharks out there. There's definitely sharks out there, guys. So yeah, I'm never giving advice in terms of business like that. You got to make your own decisions with your own business and have your own game plan for when shit, if shit goes down, especially if you're audited or whatever. But in terms of like, I don't know why I always say Foot Locker. It's always been my joke. But in terms of your Foot Locker paycheck, like you don't gotta give them, you don't gotta give a piece of your Foot Locker paycheck to NASA and you know, probably big tech and who knows who actually steals these chunks of the money. It does not go to anything you support. So you will live in hypocrisy and in poverty based off of a game that you're playing without even knowing you're playing a game. And that's the thing, is that's why they indoctrinate us with the fear of the IRS, which is a private organization, through TV shows, you know, movies, whatever. It's all fake. It's never happened. I've looked for years now for anyone that's even been threatened with jail time or fines or anything because they don't pay their Foot Locker paycheck. You know, they don't give their Foot Locker 30% to the feds. It's like, it's never happened, guys. So we need to stop getting out of this fear state of mind, get out of it, because all you do is resort back to yourself. You envision like, oh, someone's going to come to my door and do something. Again, 12 years of living proof. I know others that are deeper into longer than 12 years now. And I know people that have been in their 5th, 5th, 6th, 7th year. And we don't even think about it anymore. It's just, they don't exist to us. You have to treat it like CNN. They don't exist. I don't watch them. I don't know what they say. It's all garbage. Why would I watch? Unless I'm dissecting for a film or something. That's about it. But it's the same option you have. It's like, oh no, I have to watch CNN. They're telling me the news. It's the same thing to me. It's like, I have to pay the federal government or they'll take my house. It's like, what does it have to do with your paycheck? Your house? What are you talking about?
Right.
So, you know, it's just miseducation. I recommend people watch the video. I don't know what it's called. This is the worst description of how to watch the video. I don't know what it's called. I know it's heavily censored. So good luck with that. But it was an African-American woman. I generally call them melanated women, but I don't know if your audience would know what that meant. But African-American, for all intents and purposes, African-American woman who worked in the IRS for many, many years. And she ended up quitting because of those rumors that were floating around there and the peak of it all about what I just said, the Foot Locker ordeal.
Right.
And she's like, I just need to know if there's a law. You know, I work here. I just want to know. Oh yeah, talk to Jerome tomorrow. He'll tell you. He goes to Jerome, and Jerome's like, oh, yeah, I don't know. Talk to Bill next week. We'll set you up. Eventually, they let her go. You know, she's been there for a long time. Asking too many questions. She said, there's no law. There's nothing. They couldn't show me one fucking thing to say that the American people have to give 30% of their paycheck to them. There's no law. It's a gimmick. And it's a gimmick. It's a universal gimmick where what you don't know hurts you. And that's it. They live by deception. You can't be shocked. But that's another. I mean, how do you think they afford these holographic projection machines and these chemicals to put in our jets to spray our skies? Yep. You're paying for it. You, all of you, you're paying for it. You think they like save their money up to like new chemtrail plane? Like, no, it's coming from you. So
I like
the
that
more
you said that too, Sean. It's like, man, like NASA, it's hard for me to even come to grips with like having to pay taxes initially because taxation is legal robbery. It is theft, right? But like our money is going to entities that we can very easily prove even today. Like you in your new level with me documentary 2023, you went to the balloon thing, right? Satellite
in Texas. Yep.
Right. Yeah. So it's hard for me to even say like, okay, my money is going to good places when we know we can disprove these things as false, as fallacies. They're not true. And when like, especially the government, when they lie to you even once, well, like I'm not going to listen to anything you have to say now. Like you've already lied.
Well, that's a good point though. The satellite thing is a good point, brother, because think about it from that perspective. Your tax money is going to the satellite program to orbit in magical space. It's very expensive. One of the head honchos of the facility who's in charge of the actual real satellites that all have balloons on it, as we know.
Yep.
He's in charge of that, launching them up. He tracks every satelloon in the country from his facility. And he's like, what do you mean satellites without balloons? What are you talking about?
Even
So
that
there
guy
you
said
go. Like, people are like, oh no, they have to be in on it. No, this guy's not in on it, but he has no idea what the fuck we're talking about. And Tanner's like, what do you mean? The ones that go up, you shoot them up with the rockets. And then, and this guy's just like, what are you, unless it's something I don't know about, some
Right.
secret thing I don't know about. I have no idea what you're talking about. He had no clue. He couldn't even fathom a satellite without a balloon. He's like, what are you? I'm like, they're just orbiting the Earth, and he's like, what are you talking about?
And
So
most
again,
of those satellites, haven't they been shown to not have any propulsion systems on them to like shoot them? Like, how are they orbiting around Earth, who has its own orbit, orbiting around the sun, orbiting through space? Like, there's no propulsion, there's no rockets on these satellites. So how are they? It just doesn't
there's
make
no
any
answer.
sense to me. You know, like
No,
it's
there's
just,
there's
it's a
no
huge
answer.
lie, you know.
There's no answer for that. The public cannot get an answer for that because you can't. It's like, I need a real answer on how Santa drives his sleigh up there. You're never going to get a real answer because it's not happening.
It's magic, bro. Don't you believe in Santa's magic?
Yeah, you'll get an explanation. Here's another thing too. People are like, oh yeah, no, there's satellites are orbiting up there. Just look for one video. That's all. That's all I ask for. For the people that are like, no, satellites are orbiting somehow, okay, with 4 different motions. They're just staying with the Earth. I don't know. That whole cartoon world, it's just, I can't even pretend. I don't even know how people think it's real anymore. It really bothers me. But if they do, that's indoctrination. We've all been there. But you have to ask yourself, why can't I find one video? Just one, since the 60s. Come on. One video of what they tell us is up there. Space junk, thousands and thousands and thousands of satellites. Where's that video? Raw fucking video. There's zero. They haven't even faked any for you guys. So, red flag? No, it's not a red flag. They're faking it. It's fake. Okay. They take your tax money. They put it towards stuff that you would never vote for. It's all corruption, war, chemtrails, to pay their cartoon animators. I mean, it's ridiculous. And the space program itself, collectively, worldwide, 330 billion a year, at least that's reported. It's probably more, but they take $400 billion a year from us, from our hardworking Foot Locker jobs. Okay. And they fake space. You take that $400 billion, you dissolve NASA. Let's go to the 60th parallel and then to the north. And then we dissolve NASA the next day, right? We dissolve NASA. As cliche and cheesy as it sounds, I'm sorry, guys. $400 billion ends homelessness forever.
Yeah.
$400 billion can get every homeless person their own house.
Yep.
So, and this is one company I'm picking on called NASA. There's tons of black budget tax stealers that we could change our world with tomorrow. The problem is society, humanity are under a trance. They don't know they're being lied to about it all. They don't know they're duped in a system that is forcing them to pay for it all, support it all, defend it all. That's key, defending them. And that's my job, is to make films to break people's, reality up and at least make them confused, and then hopefully they watch it again. Or hopefully they just go research the topics I brought forward to verify them all. And because I had someone that broke down level with me and I think he was a complete flat earth denier. And now he's not, but I don't want to say his name, but it's I like that. I like that conversation because he looked at every section and paused it, the Challenger in the beginning, he paused it, looked up these names, looked up where they worked, and like, oh shit, that's the same fucking person. Like, what the fuck? Okay, that's verifiable. That doesn't mean the Earth's flat, but holy shit. So he went on to the next scene.
Those astronauts, yep.
Yes. So then he's like, the next scenes, the satellites, satelloons, looked it up, couldn't believe what he found with that. Probably found more than me, he said. And saw stuff from the 50s. They were all on balloons. They were publicly on balloons. It wasn't until Arthur C. Clarke made a book in the 50s or 60s about, satellites orbiting magically. And they took that idea and they ran with it. I think the book did really well. the Americans especially were like, that's so cool. Oh my God, can you imagine if that was real? And they're like, yeah, no, NASA's going to do it next year. Oh my God, we need more money to do it. So it's always been fake. It's always been for money, for your mind, the government, mental, they govern your mind. These are government entities for a reason. NASA's not some random company, guys. They were started by Nazi traitors, and they're still running the show. I mean,
I like how you broke
it's
that
sad.
word
It's
down.
sad.
Governmental, right? And it's the same thing if we go back to when you were saying more land, right? Like extraterrestrial. If you break down that word,
Yep.
extra terra, extra land, and it's it's
Yep.
right in everybody's face, but nobody wants to like come to grips with like, okay, maybe there might be something here.
And the outer space.
Right, outer space, exactly. Like we're not saying that extraterrestrials don't exist. We're just saying that maybe look left, look right, don't look straight up. You know what I mean? Because what you're looking at is not what you think you see.
And look down too. We forget to look down.
Mhm.
There's underground cities, guys. There's for forever they've been documented. Forever our ancients have spoke about it.
Right.
People act like it's a new thing. No.
Mhm.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's public knowledge that they're saving children right now. Well, the saving the children's not the unfortunate part, of course, but underground bunkers, trafficking, they're pulling children out of under the ground as we speak. No one knows. CNN's never going to tell you. Fox, well, Fox is cooler. No, they're never going to. No one's going to fucking tell you. They're all controlled. They're not going to tell you what's really going on in the world right now.
Mhm.
Just knowing that there's children being saved from underground, it hurts me, but it also makes me feel better they're being saved. But it's like, wait, pause there for a second. Underground, what are we talking about here? And then you get this vision, if you're indoctrinated about it, that like they're just in some hole down there. No, like there's cities beneath us, guys. There's towns beneath us. There's powerful structures beneath us. There's powerful people underneath us right now. So it's not just about going out and then going into the center. I think the center of the world is the key to everything, to understanding everything. I think to go into the past 60th parallel, that would definitely help answer some questions.
Right.
How much more land is there? I'm not gonna say is there more land? There is.
There is definitely. Mm-hmm.
How much more land is there?
Mm-hmm.
Are there other suns and moons? Are there other sources of life out there? Are there other civilizations out there?
Mm-hmm.
How do they live? Are they not allowed here? Like we're not allowed there. Are we, like Sam Tripoli always says, we're the this known world that we live in, the 7 continents, is a giant North Korea. No one comes in, no one gets out. And that's how he feels, but it's nice. It would be nice to know what's really going on. That's all. Like I get over the South quickly. There's 2 extra continents. It's always in shadow or something. It's like, well, it's not as fun as I thought, I guess, but hey, there's still extra continents. Like, I knew it. I had that feeling. I knew it. I get over it. And then, it is what it is. But it's just the idea of thinking like, man, imagine if there actually is another system over there, another, I always make the joke of the Smurfs, right? The Smurfs, they're where they live on the ice, right? They were on the outskirts of ice shelves, right? In their environment, and their skin color was what?
Blue.
Yeah. And that again, that's far-fetched. It's pure fantasy, guys. Don't judge me. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I tinker with that in my mind. I'm like,
right.
Was that like a little truth bomb? Like, are there other humans over there with, different pigmentation? Because we all look different at the end of the day. We all have different pigmentation out here under this sun and moon structure system, right? We all look different in a sense. Maybe they look different over there if there is something else. But then you got those heavy religious people that just condemn me for that because they're like, oh, it'd be in the Bible, I'm like, well, in my opinion, I don't think the Bible was written that long ago. Just my opinion. But that doesn't mean that they're right or I'm wrong. It's just the ability to go check. That's all. The fantasy of it.
Like I think I've heard you talk about it in your videos a few times. I've seen videos of people that are trying to sail towards Antarctica, from their continents, and there are warships from those independent countries from the Antarctic Treaty that literally tell them to turn around, pointing their guns at them. Like, why are we not allowed to even go and look at this? You know what I mean? Like, so anybody that's like, oh, well, if there is more land, just go find out for yourself. Well, that's the thing. We can't. I can't even go and like look for myself. So if there is more land, just let some people go look. And if there's not, I would gladly refute all of the things that I've said for the last year or two about
me too,
gladly. But they're not even letting people go and see with their own eyes if there's something out there, that way, to the left, to the right. It's not even possible,
It's a good point. No, it's not, man. And it won't be possible ever until the masses are aware.
Right.
Yeah.
And more
So for the flat earthers that look at my work and go, oh, you need to stop with this more land and these crazy maps with all these worlds and stuff. I'm trying to draw general interest. Okay. And I'm gonna pick on someone, what's his name? You ever heard of Jamie Kennedy?
Jamie Kennedy.
He had the old show on MTV for years, the Jamie Kennedy Experience. He was in all the scary movies. He's an actor, famous actor. All the scary movies that we watch, he was one of the main guys in those comedies. Okay. And he had his own show. It was a good show back in the day, a funny show. Anyways, if you saw him, you know who he is. I'm sure your audience, some of them have heard of him. And this is no diss at him. I'm just calling it what it is. He's a, B-listed celebrity, whatever you want to call that. He was on Eddie Bravo. I produced Eddie Bravo's podcast, Look Into It. And on Rockfin, I got a show on Rockfin as well, but I produced Eddie's, and he had Jamie Kennedy on, and he was trying to flat smack him at the end, and wasn't going too well. It was going okay, he was bringing up the science regarding it and the water's level, and I felt like Jamie was kind of like, one of those moods where it's like, it doesn't really add up to me. It doesn't really, I've heard it before. I don't understand this whole thing, Eddie, and I'm sitting there in Eddie's studio like, Eddie, more land. I'm like, just fucking say it. Like, I'm like trying to telepathically like get in his head. And finally he hears me, and this is right before he changed the subject, but he was losing Jamie, in my opinion. And then he goes, and then some people think that they're lying about the shape of the earth because there's more continents, there's more land, they're hiding more land. And as he's about to change the subject right away, Jamie Kennedy goes, whoa, wait, whoa. He goes, what did you just say? His whole demeanor changed. And Eddie goes, oh yeah, there's rumors that there's more continents, more land there. That's why they're, there's a globe now because they, blah, blah, blah. No, it's more exploration. And Jamie's just like, okay, now that makes sense. Wait a minute. And you'd see like him looking in his conscious, like, what the fuck? Something tells me that there's something to this because I heard something once. There was something going on in his brain was the point.
Right.
And that's my point. That's pure speculation, guys, granted, but it sparks the interest too. Yep. And the point is to get humanity on board. There's no other way but to speculate. There's land in the north. There's land out past 60th parallel. If every human being even knew that was a rumor, we'd have enough people to go check.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
So the flat earthers that are like, we're sick of this more land stuff in your films, fuck you. Because if you don't want to see what's past the 60th parallel and you don't want to see what's in the north, okay, then you're not a hypocrite, I granted. But if you do want to see what's in that magical north, and you do want to see if there's anything past the 60th, even your little dome touching the ground, I know you want to write your name on it, right? We have to go fucking see, right? So let me speculate that there's 1,000 continents over there. This way, humanity can go check on your little dome, okay? Or if it's there or not. I'm just making a joke. It's just the point. They want a dome to be there so bad. Right. They don't want an extra continent. They want glass. They want Under the Dome TV show to be real, and that's where you fuck up. The Simpsons has a dome, the Truman Show. It's propaganda. It's not real. They want you to think the flat earth is enclosed and you got nowhere to go. What's that sound like? The globe. What does that change for you tomorrow? Now that guy that says I still have work in the morning, he's legit.
Right.
Really nothing changes, man. I'm sorry. You're just not spinning. Yep. That's it.
But
you're just not spinning. And granted, they lie to you and they take your money. But in general, in the conscious mind, there's really no difference for that person, especially the person that doesn't give a fuck anyways.
Right.
Oh, it's flat, but we can't, I still, as a globe space lover, I can't go up there. Right. Let's be real. That no one that believes in it thinks they can go. Okay. That's just real. You're not going up there. You can't. So they still can't go up there. And there's nowhere to go over there anyways. There's just stops. Maybe they want to go see like where it stops. I guess that'd be a tourist attraction, right? But nothing really changes in a nutshell. But if there's 300 continents and 4 in the north with a black sun and projections and aurora borealis and all the rumors, all that's there, and there's more land out there, everything changes. Yeah. There is that same person can never say again, well, it doesn't fucking matter either way. Yep. No. It would matter. That person would never act like it wouldn't matter if that was the case.
And then I
But
love
that
that you
person
also,
could.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the black sun. I was talking to Evan about this recently. I started showing Evan videos of this, and I think it was the 2022 level documentary you spoke.
Next
about
level,
a
yeah.
5-minute segment. Yeah, you talk about the dark sun, and I think Santos Bonacci's talk about it a little bit too. You've never, not you, as a whole, humans, we've never seen the moon come close to the sun. You just see a black object. We've never actually physically seen the moon that we see in the sky every night. You've never seen that moon. You just see a black.
You don't see before. You don't see it before. You don't see it during. You don't see it after.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we
So
don't
the
have
sun
images,
is
on
the sun's
moon
eclipsing
of
something
an
else.
eclipse happening on the Earth, right? Like you don't see a giant shadow. Like we don't have that. So like I bring these points up to people, and they're just so, it's like they belong to the Matrix. They're defending a system that wants nothing to do with them. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
That's another thing too with the eclipses. Obviously, the sun's eclipsing somebody up there. I don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, the shadow does justification for me at that point. I mean, it's always been confusing as a child. Like, why, when the eclipse was out in my school's like, you need a special box and glasses, and you can't look, and you this and that. And I was the rebel spirited person I was. I looked with my bare eyes, not in any fear of going blind. Like they said, you go blind, you will go blind. And I'm like, it's like God was talking to me that day as a child, like, fuck off, whoever said that. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, yeah, it didn't resonate true. I'm like, how could I go blind from that? Why would God make a world where we're about to go all blind and some, like, what? So I'm looking, and in my head I go, God, that looks right. I'm little. I'm like, they look like it's just right there. Like, and the shadow is just underneath. It's like just on me, not the state over. They don't see this, but they should. Half the world should see this.
Good, correct. Yep.
And they don't. So 2 local lights and a small shadow in my city makes perfect sense on a flat Earth. It makes absolute sense on a flat Earth model.
Yep. Opposed
to a globular heliocentric model that, again, in my explanation of it all, it doesn't matter what they say, how their cartoons, they show it crosses and then it's 2 body of lights and a little fucking speck dust rock Earth down there. The whole half of that Earth is dark, man. The whole thing is covered in darkness, and that's obviously, as we know, that's never happened, and it never will. So you can't have, and we would, though. I even think a sunset would be the same. It would be bright outside at all times. There'd be no glowing amber, lovely looking sun at 6 o'clock. It would be bright as fuck until it's set, and it would go black in 1 second.
1 second, right?
That's exactly what it should do, and it's never done that either.
Never.
And then you could see you could see the
away from you, right?
Correct. You could see the difference in the tropics, right? When you're in the Tropic of Cancer, that's our summer. Yep. And we can see that when the sun is moving out of our path in the summertime, summer nights, especially Cali, we're right by the turn, technically. It's light out till 9, dude. Like, it's just, you don't see the sun anymore, but it's bright outside for a long time because the sun is on the smaller turn. It's on the smaller circle.
Right.
So as it's turning and heading towards the other continents, and now those continents see the actual sun, all that light's still by California from the sun because it's making a smaller turn, and I still see the light for a long time. When it's on the Tropic of Capricorn, Australia's summer, and in California, and it's the sun setting at 6:30, 6:40, at 6:50, it's black outside. 7 o'clock, it's black as night because it's on the outer ring and it's going farther, and it's already farther in my sky. Right. So as it starts turning towards those same other continents, I don't see any light. That sun's long gone, and all of its light's gone with it. So like these little things that I notice with my own eyes and I see, I'm like, oh yeah. All of it syncs up to what we now know. None of it ever and can ever sync up to what we're taught in school. It can't. Oh, yeah. And I know they know that. And that's why they have to fake ISS and they have to fake space and images of Earth. It's all fake. So of course, it has to be. Satellites are fake. And
It
you
keeps
know,
their game going, right?
Yeah.
The game of deception, it just keeps it going. And they have to start at little 4 and 5-year-old brains that can't even formulate sentences yet. That's when we start, getting globes. We're given globes in preschool when you graduate. Here's your little ball. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
and then they have people like Don Pettit who talk like this because this way, if you're an idiot and you believe all of this stuff, then I'm the perfect person for you. Yeah, that's exactly why.
Dumbing down and indoctrination, man. It's just, and it begins before we can even say full sentences as kids, you know what I mean? And people, it's like I was watching one of your videos earlier today because I'm just very interested in what you have to say all the time. It's like adults that are still holding on to the Santa Claus thing. Like they can't let go of what they think they know is true. Like as kids, we think, okay, Santa's going from one continent to the next and dropping presents in each chimney. Like to me, I see people that still believe in globe theory as people that still believe in Santa Claus, but they're adults. That's the way that I see it. It's just such a big lie, and you can't wake up from it. It has to come from you. So
well, and that's the problem is that as a child, luckily I wasn't vaccinated. I didn't have the Santa effect. I didn't have any of that shit with my mom. But as a kid, you hate your mom for some of those things, but now it's like, thank God you didn't put us through that.
Right.
But most of Americans, hopefully not nowadays, but probably still, they teach their kids the Santa thing first 5, 6, 7 years of their lives. So when you're a child and you're gullible, and authority figures, as in parents, grandparents, teachers, these are authority figures, policemen, when they're all in on this, right? When they're all Santa, 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 here comes Santa. There's the police. Did you see Santa today, little girl? The police said Santa. Oh, everybody knows it's real. So as a child, you're like, oh shit, this shit's legit. I'm excited. Let's put some fucking milk and cookies out, like all about it, right? Then you're 6 years old and you're starting school and you don't want to get bullied. And so your parents are like, hey, champ, by the way, that Santa thing, like, none of that's real. We all lied to you your whole life. The first 6 years of your life, we've lied to you. So did the police that you met that one day. So did all your teachers that you met last year. Everyone has been lying to you about something that you thought was the coolest fucking thing to ever exist on this earth, cooler than God himself. It's a lie. So as a child, you get defensive. You know he's real, and no, that's bullshit. So you defend it, right? And you don't want to let it go. Eventually you let it go because your peers already let it go or are now letting it go, and you can accept it together and bitch at your parents behind their backs together, right? And then Christmas is never the same again. And then you never trust your parents again, whether you admit that or not. They're all fucking liars. They lied to you your whole life. So imagine that same kid that got fucked up from that grows up, and now you're telling the 35-year-old man that just went through that as a child that ball that was handed to him actually at birth, generally speaking in society, but let's just call it kindergarten.
Right.
That ball that was handed to you in kindergarten, I'm just gonna have to take that away from you now, man. I know it wasn't just 5, 6 years of a red-hatted fat man flying in the sky. So that was a very small dose of the indoctrination and the backlash that came out of it. When you're telling a 35-year-old that ball is not real, he goes right back to Santa days, man. He goes, oh no, this shit's real. Fuck you. No matter, where's your evidence? Well, I don't fuck you. Like, they hate you. They don't want to give their ball up. They don't want to give the ball up. And usually the people that don't want to give their ball up, they love face masks, they love going to CVS, like they love that. So that's fine. Those people, maybe in the next lifetime you'll get it. Sorry, you failed. You can't even get past Mario level 1. You can't even get to level 2 in Mario. Okay, I'm on level 124. I'm not going to keep going back down to level 1 when you can't even get to level 2. I'm done with you. The people that are on level 10 looking for level 11, they deserve my time. They deserve my attention, because you're already on level 10, 9/11, maybe the flu, right? Certain things. You're already on level 10. But this is we're up here, man. Like, I'm always going to help anyone trying to come up. But the ones that can't even get to level 2, we need to all stop wasting our time with them. Sorry, we just do. And I've been wasting 7 years of my time with them. And now I'm moving forward. My market for waking the world up is the people on level 10 trying at least to get to level 11.
Look
And
at
there's
Yeah.
hundreds of millions of those people right now. And
Yeah.
that's the group that's going to change humanity. Not we need to, again, a lot of people focus on the idiots, right? The Santa people. Stop. They're just let them have just always tell them when you're mad at them or like you just want to like get some in their head, just always tell them have, good luck with Santa and your globe, and just always keep it in that group. Easter Bunny, just make them feel like that, right? Literally make them feel that way. Keep it in the group. Easter Bunny, globe, Earth, Santa, the Santa Claus, dinosaurs. Keep it all in there. Sure, they love dinosaurs too. No
Oh, yeah.
evidence. Those are the bones of giant humans, guys.
Oh,
Let's be
100%.
real.
100%.
If you think about it, all a child's favorite topic in school is always going to be space, or it's going to be dinosaurs.
Yep.
It's going to be something along those lines.
And it's funny too, Evan, right? Because like, whose careers paleontologists who literally sole reason that they even get paid is for dinosaurs to continue to exist. But if, let's say, I one day wanted to go hold a dinosaur fossil in my hands, wow, this is a T-Rex tooth. Well, wait, I can't even do that. I can't even do that. I mean, it's only for paleontologists whose careers solely exist on dinosaurs existing. But we have, presidents like Abraham Lincoln that said there's mounds of giant bones over there. You know what I mean? Like giants 100% walk this earth for sure. Yeah.
And I think it was recently.
Mhm.
Like
How
really,
recently?
really recently.
Hmm.
Like enough recently now that I'm looking at where they might still be here. Not here,
Wow.
but somewhere.
Wow.
Somewhere.
I'm looking forward to your documentary on Tartaria and talking about all that stuff. I'm assuming that you're going to include some of those things in there.
Yeah, a lot of Tartaria to me, unfortunately, is pure speculation, man, and that's what sucks. But you know what? At the same time, it's all about boots on the ground. So
Right.
I want to. I'm going to be starting a fundraiser pretty soon. I have to kind of get my ducks in a row. I don't want to ask for too much or too little, but I also want to have a good film. So it's hard, man. When you're a one-man band, and now you're talking about at least I just did like the territories I would need to hit and travel to at minimum 12 flights, minimum 11, 12 flights. That means 11, 12 hotels, 11, 12 rental cars.
Yep.
You do that math, and that's the bare minimum to even pretend to start this.
Yep.
And no, from the rentals that come in from my previous films, it's enough to pay the light bills and stuff. And,
Yeah.
not much. It keeps me to not have to get a job. So I'm blessed for that.
Right.
But it's like a new film, new traveling, new everything. It gives me a headache because I'd rather just be in a position to just be like, oh yeah, let's go. Like Level With Me sold, pretend Level With Me sold, 40,000 copies. All right. Okay. Why the fuck would I do a fundraiser? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
That makes no sense whatsoever. At that point, please judge me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But when it becomes kind of a wash, it's enough to go, I can do this the rest of my life. I don't mind washes. I don't mind the wash. I got the film done. The film's out. I made enough back to have a wash. Okay, now let's on to the next one, right? Hopefully there's a certain point in my career that I make one film in the future that just blows up. Because that's all I need in my life is that one film to have 10,000, 20,000 downloads or something, right? Okay, well, I just made 80 grand or whatever right there. Okay, well, now I can really put together my next project and just go. I don't have to wait. I don't have to ask. I don't have to beg anyone out to do anything. I can go, okay, I got 80 grand. We're going to go out of the country now. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I'm going to get a team now. I'm going to get a lighting team. I could pay for them now. So all that has to happen with that stupid thing called money.
Right.
So hopefully if I do another small fundraiser, if the audience, everyone throws $1 or $2, whatever, and it just goes up, it maxes out. I can book all these flights, boots on the ground, drone some of these Tartarian buildings. I want to drone them and get all up in that motherfucker, man. Like get all up in it. What are these things? Like get in there.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe bend some rules and laws along the way to get the information I need, break into a building or two if I have to. I don't give a fuck. But if the funding's there, I'm going to do it. Maybe I'll throw another 1,000 in for bail money, but it's just the point of, when the film's done, like I do with every project, if you donate to the front, and I don't have one yet. Okay. I don't even know the name of the film yet, but that's coming. If you donate to the fundraiser. You're getting the film for free.
Yeah.
No matter what. I put it in all my fundraisers. Email me when the film comes out. You know, you hear, oh, the film's out. Where's mine? Yeah, that's fine. Just email me. I can't remember everyone that donated.
Right.
Just email me with your receipt, whether it's $1, $20, whatever. Here, I donated to you. Okay. If you want, you can actually outdo the system. You don't have to rent it for $5 when it's out. You can rent it for $1 today by donating that $1. You'll get it for free still. Dude, you know how many emails for Level With Me? Everyone that donated for Level With Me, whether it was $1 or if Tanner's 5,000, it's just the point. Everyone got emailed a free copy. And what I usually did with the donators, I'd say 98% of them got all three just for donating. They didn't even know. They had no idea. They're like, yeah, I donated. Here's my $5 receipt from 2 months ago. We're waiting for, you know, we want to watch Level With Me. They had to give me their receipt. So I know. So I replied to them with all three. And they're like, oh my God, they're like, yeah, of course. And some of them are like, we already had the first one, or whatever, just have all three again. And that's just the type of person I am. It's like, you were there I don't care if it was $1. You didn't have to fucking do that. You didn't have to do that. You don't know me personally. You don't, but you want to, if like, again, I'm the same person. Like when Santos Bonacci was when he started his Syncretism Society, I wanted that society built. I'm like, that seems awesome. That sounds like something that everyone should do, build their own community. So I donated a nice amount to him in the beginning stages because I'm not a hypocrite. I want that here. I'm going to give towards something I want. You want a project or a documentary on certain topics, and here's a guy, a one-man band that's like, I'll do it. Just everybody give me $1. That's it. Like, that's how I look at it, man. Because you look at my YouTube, even though they froze my subscribers for years now, you know, I'll never hit 100K. It doesn't matter. They just have it that way. So I've always been like 92,000 subscribers forever now. And if just half of my subscribers gave $1, I could make one film a year easily. That's it. Wow. Half my subscribers throw me $1 every year, $1 a year. I can make a new film every year. And you think about it from that, it's like, now it doesn't seem that weird. It doesn't seem that like off-putting of like the truth should be free. It's like, oh no, don't worry. It will be free. Even this Tartaria film will be free. It'll be in standard definition for free.
Figure out where to donate, because I want, after this, I didn't even know this is a whole thing. I want to figure out how to do this. Where is the best place?
Oh, hibbelerproductions.com. Right here. Yeah, that's everything I will do, I'm going to do, or have done is on there. So, and again, you guys are kind of the first to know about this project in a sense. I did fly out to Houston for Martin Leakey, Max Egan. There was people there, like a Tartaria convention. And I filmed, I don't know Max Egan at all. I've heard some people don't like him. I heard some people love him. I don't fucking know. All I know is that he acts like Flat Earth is a psyop, so that pisses me off a little bit. But talking to him in person, he agreed that they're hiding continents and stuff. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, is this guy?
I'm like, can you say one but not the other?
Yeah, what? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right.
So I don't want people to be like, oh, dude, you got this guy that he's not a flat earther, you know, and he's in this film. It's like, look, man, what if I made a film on viruses?
Yeah.
Do I have to have every doctor in my film be a flat earther? Fuck you. I'm making a film on viruses. Right. So I'm going to get people that know about the realness or lack of realness of what a virus is. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to get that. I don't want to hear on I'm making this up, my virus documentary, 3 of those doctors are Globers. I don't fucking care. That's not my mission here, guys. Trust me, don't worry. They watch this film. What else did he make? Oh, don't worry. They'll wake up. They want to watch my other work? No, I don't care who's in my film. As long as they're real, they're genuine, good-hearted, loving people. There's good-hearted, loving people that don't know the Earth is a stationary plane. Yeah. You're an idiot to think otherwise. There's millions of good, loving, great soldiers of God in this world that don't know yet, or that are confused, or that are misled by the psyop of anything, okay? Right. So, and I'm not defending Max Egan whatsoever. I just, I think the next time, if I do ever talk to him again, I'm just going to give it to him. because I need to really know like what the fuck is going on in that head. How do you know about all this other stuff, but this one's like, it's kind of sounds psyop-y. It's like, no, it's not a psyop. We're a stationary plane. Now, if he thinks of like we're just in a realm or something, okay, you can at least say we're not spinning. Like you got to give something towards that. But again, to make my point with the virus tentative film, would you guys need all of those people to be flat earthers, or I'm a piece of shit for that? No. So again, with the Tartaria, Max knows a lot of stuff. He's got a lot of good information on these old structures and buildings. He's got good insight, and he's got a good way to make the audience watching the film kind of like, oh yeah, you're right. So he might be a guy that I already shot him. I was there for Martin Leakey, Flat Earth British, and I shot him in their buddy's house or something, and their buddy talked to, and I don't know his name, Jason something. He didn't make much sense to me. Like I'm filming him and like, what's your opinion on Tartaria? And he's a nice guy, but I'm like, I don't think that's gonna make the film. Like I feel bad. Like I'm in your house, so I'm pretty sure you're expecting to be in my doc, right? No, I don't think so. You didn't bring what I needed. It's no one's fault. I'm not gonna make it. But Max said some good stuff on camera. Obviously, Martin did. My buddy Johnny did. That's just one little small part of this giant film, right? Like that was one event. It was good, and then but now it's like I want to start planning. Boots on the ground. Where are we going? Go stop at John Levi's house. Go to Florida for Dr. Narco Longo, who you guys ever heard of him?
I haven't heard of him.
Narco Longo?
No.
Oh, dude, he's another one, man, to go watch. He knows not only about the true history of America, where it started in Florida, Floridians,
Really?
unbelievable stuff he's got, but he knows the Tartaria, all that stuff. Go check him out, Dr. Longo Narco. He looks like Eric Dubé with long hair. I always make fun of him. If Eric Dubé had long hair, but kind of the same demeanor, very confident and listenable, like Eric was. But now he's going to be in it too. So I'm excited for him because he's like this new wave of like, holy truth, man.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I just had him on my podcast, The Hibbeler Effect, on Rockfin. I had him on, I recorded it yesterday. It'll be out Monday, but it was a phenomenal show, and he knows a lot of shit, man. And he was off air. He was putting me on speed with some of the people I was recording. And he was like, yes. He's like, one of them I wouldn't keep in your film for XYZ. And then I researched and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, nope. So thank God I got Final Cut, man. Again, you're in a room full of people you don't know. I don't know who these people are. And when you're told who they are, I'm like, oh shit, they're not going to be in my film. But again, I don't know Max Egan. Max Egan was not that guy we were speaking of at the moment. I'm saying Max Egan was not in that conversation. Yeah. I don't know. Again, some people don't like him. Some people do. I don't want to be in that position. I just want good information. And if good information is set on camera, my camera, it's going to make my film. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, right. As long as she's not like, he has a background of raping children or something, that's different. Okay. But no, the guy's clean. I've heard people say he's a loving guy. They just disagree with him for stuff. Okay. I think he'll make it. But I'm looking to get connected with the top tier people of this topic, and everybody has different opinions. That's the crazy thing. You would think like Martin Leakey, John Levy, any of them that like they all agree on everything. No, they don't. Yeah, and same with Flat Earth, though. You think about it. Same with Flat Earth.
That's the beauty of it, though. And
it is. But as a filmmaker, it gets hard, man, because when you're filming, pretend you're him and you're the other one, and I'm like, "What's your thoughts on the cathedrals?" And then you give me an answer, and then his thoughts are completely different. They don't coincide. So then my film looks weird at that point with coinciding things. So what I do, my structure of how I do films, and different people's opinions is, if the two opinions are completely counteractive, it's a wash. That's not going to make the film. Simple as that. We got to be in agreement here, right? Across the board, because I make 101 type of films. I'm not making advanced knowledge films for anybody. Maybe one day, yeah, but the world's not ready for that. The world can't even handle 101.
I like how you said like the beginner films too. Like you and ODD TV are the two people that really just totally like woke me up completely. I guess to speak in the way that our conversation's going, my pineal gland kind of opened up a little bit, right? Like
Yeah.
you and ODD TV have such good beginner information that's very easy to digest and like make you question, okay, maybe I don't really know what's going on. You and him are very, very good sources of knowledge. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's been a good friend of mine since even back then, man.
Awesome.
He's going through some personal things right now, which we all do in life.
Right.
He'll be back. He'll be back soon on the grind. You know, he's just going through some personal things. I get it all the time. Where's ODD? I'm like, yeah, man, he's living his life. He's figuring his life out right now.
Yeah.
He'll be back. Don't worry. He's a great guy. But yeah, he helped my awakening too, and we kind of helped each other in the beginning of our careers with this, and we instantly linked up. And I think 2015, 2016, we just friends ever since because we're on the same mission and you know, we're both good at what we do. So we linked together a few times. We've done a few projects together, even some unnoticed, like no one knew that like we were together on that project, but we've been trying to do this. And once I came up with the level series and stuff, you know, that's my thing. Like anybody can do whatever they want to wake the world up. And there's different ways to do it. Like Conspiracy Music Guru, he does music, right? Jim Brewer, he does comedy. I talk to Jim all the time. He's
love Jim Brewer.
The comedy that Jim does is on purpose. Okay. Jim, this is how he's waking people up. He knows it. He knows it. Sam knows it. Okay. I'll see Sam Saturday for his show with Eddie.
Foley,
like, yeah. But like when him and Eddie do shows, it's comedy, but it's truth. It's conspiracies. It's they bullshit afterwards with the audience. It's a form of waking people up. Yeah. Comedy, music, videos, you know, whatever. If you only take the truth seriously, it's going to be a hard one to wake the world up. You have to get people from different angles. Some people will wake up via music. Some people will wake up via video. Some people will wake up via a comedy show. Literally, it will happen. It can happen. Or they absorb it better. Like they're in the middle. They're unsure. They don't want to be ridiculed by their peers. But then they go to a Jim Brewer show live. Jim's talking about the same things. And the audience is with me. Well, I don't feel alone anymore. So it's a collective consciousness approach with all forms of media to get the truth out there. And we all, even you guys, you're playing your role, having a podcast. Everyone plays their role in spreading the truth. The one thing that can't be continuing to be spread, and there's no more ripple effect of lies, guys. Okay. No one from you guys to me and on up, no one that's truth seeking in the whole world, the hundreds and hundreds of millions of us, no, it's only growing. And this is the form of grouping that can never go back. So this ripple effect took off in 2014. It's only getting better now. You got, I call them Trumpers, but even the Trumpers, they're still waking up to stuff, right? Yep. So, you know, or the Q people, right? They're the funniest, but at the same time, they know about the trafficking our children. They know, at least they're okay with the rumors of the Earth's flat, most of them. They'll talk to you about it. That's way more than anyone else in the world. So again, you got these levels of truth seekers, but it's all shifting in the division of the whole world's going to be absorbing this truth soon. In a matter of time, meaning no one in those groups, even the Trumpers, nobody in the groups of truth seeking is going to go back to sleep.
Once
they wake up,
once your eyes are open, you can't close them.
Yeah. And that's why they're going after our children. For that exact reason, because they know they can't control,
they can't be unindoctrinated, right?
Correct. They can't control the 20, 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds that are waking up right now in this world. There's nothing they can do. We're never going back to what CNN's saying. Oh my God, I'm emotionally invested. This is true. Oh my God, the knee on his neck, it's real. Okay. So that's not going to happen moving forward.
Right.
But, you know, that's why they go after children. Chop your dick off, you know, wear these rainbows and all the stuff they're doing. It's so like, man, we got to fuck them up like now, quick, strong, powerful, because we can't make anyone else that's waking up go back to sleep. The kids have got to be sleeping now for us to even have a chance, but they're losing this war. I think we all know that. We all feel that this war is ending soon. This war seemed like it was going to be a brutal one that we were going to get fucked up with, and it backfired on them because God is great. That's why. So
I was going to say, I like how you said we're all serving our own purpose in a sense, whether it's this podcast episode, your documentary, a conversation you have with a client, whatever it is, it all is an invitation for them, really point them back to themselves so that they can explore who they are and the world they live in.
No more exploration, man. No such thing.
No
Remember,
more.
that's my favorite part of the Truman Show. And they pulled down the world. The Truman says, "When I get older, I want to be an explorer, like the Great Magellan." And yeah, they pulled down the world, the 7 known continents, of course.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, there's nothing left to explore. So, and that's another thing too. I mean, when's the last time you heard a child in your family, or if you have children, anything? Like, when was the last time you heard, I want to be an explorer? You know,
Right.
that probably went out of the, probably even when we were little. It's like no one fucking did. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the thing. When you take exploration out of the human mind, we're always supposed to be in migration, exploration.
Yeah.
These are human nature. This is what we're supposed to. We've been programmed to never explore, never look out, never look in, never. We were programmed to look up.
Yeah.
Look up. Those are God's stars, sun and moon going around our head. We can't even touch them. What are you talking about?
Right.
They're not far. They're not big, but they're not. They're made for us, but they're not for us to do anything with. We live on Earth. We need to explore this Earth. What else is out there? What else can we find? How many beautiful animals are there? How many other types of fruit in the world are there?
Right.
You know, we're used to the American 10, you know, the top 10 fruits. There's so many fucking fruits in other countries, and they're illegal to be sold here because of what they cure. Wonder why.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they want you to eat dead pigs and dead cows and call that nutrition. That's, you know, that's them, dude. And I'm not one to be, I'm not going to be pushing veganism on anybody, but
Right.
You need to research what you're doing yourself. That's all I'll say about that. If you think the Garden of Eden had dead, slaughtered 2-year-old pigs, I mean, that's your prerogative. But,
Right.
you know, I think that's another form of conditioning for another show. But,
Yeah.
you know, that's government food pyramid can't be good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Food pyramid.
There's so much.
Especially when my grandma told me that her mom grew up in a world where they had meat once a year.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And even then they were looked down upon because that's it was like a ritual type of, like, blood type of thing. You know, and now the government's like, oh my God, this gives heart disease by 50? Fuck yeah. Top of the pyramid. And every school, cancerous, you know, it's like, I get it though. People love their meat, but they just gotta better educate themselves, man. That's all. They just, you know, our ancients lived to 200-300 years old. None of them ate dead animals. So,
Wow.
I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not pushing bugs or plants. I'm just saying, in general, I think that we should take a look at what we're putting in our mouth. That's all.
For sure.
That's all.
Everything we do. Every single thing there.
Conscious approach.
But yeah, guys, I got to roll.
Right on,
I'm thankful for the invite. I hope that I reach someone in your audience correctly to affect their conscious, to be a better person, and to grow up and to wake up. But anyone that wants to see my work or my films or my show or anything I do, my collaborations with others, just go to hibbelerproductions.com. And then if you guys can be kind enough to send me, to tag me in something on Instagram or send me a link of this show, I can help you get, you know, promoted or whatever.
Yeah. I'll have it out within the next week or so. Put it up on the gram. Put all your you know, links to your website and your documentaries and everything.
I appreciate it, man. Any last questions you guys have before I go?
You know, I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm feeling pretty good. I'll say when I guess the next question would be, when's the next time you want to do another one? Let us know.
Yeah, it's sooner than later. Just hit me up sooner than later. I'm always down to do shows, man. So I don't think I say no to really anyone besides what's that slime ball's name? Sean, fuck's his name? Now I forget. The guy that had Professor Dave and Dave Weiss on and set that bullshit up. He's a bald, alien-looking guy. I don't know. He's got a huge following. Sean, babe, what's that dude's name? That bald, slimy dude.
David Weiss and I'm trying to think.
Babe, I don't know. She can't hear me.
I think I know what
Sean Atwood. Sorry, Sean Atwood.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like a big, you know, Alex Jones type of show type of guy, and he tried to get me on the show, and he was slipping in McToon and like these like shills in the show, like so I can click. The whole goal was for me to click on the link he wanted to talk about Michael Jackson, which I've touched before. He's just, you know, I don't think he was a molester. I've had stuff on that.
Right. I love that video you made.
Thank you. Yeah, but he was trying to set it up like I'm stupid or something. Like, we're gonna talk a little Michael Jackson on the show. I'm like, wait, you have a giant show. That's what you want to talk about? You know who I am. You know I'm a flat Earth dude. Like, you want to talk about Michael? I'm like, I kind of bought in the beginning. Then I looked at the description of the video, and it said McToon's in there, who's an agent, like a Globe agent, right? So I'm like, oh, I get what this is. They're gonna try to Professor Dave me and just come in and start doing stupid shit. Like, you can't get me. Like, they thought they were. They've been trying to get me for years now, just to set it up where they we're live. Oh, Hibbeler, blah, 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 and just get like have a viral moment with me, right? That's what they crave the most, is a viral moment with, like, they just want me a part of their shit, and they almost got me that time, man, but. I didn't allow it. I out-thunked them, and they act like I ran from it. No. I'm not playing you. I don't play games with shills, agents, traps, especially big networks like that. That's a setup. That's a fucking setup if I ever saw one. And then the fact that they hid all the information from me about who's on the show, who's joining. They didn't tell me anything. Say, hey, come on for a little bit, click this link. It was like a setup, and I didn't click it. And they did not like that. And they really signed off that show very awkwardly after they called me a Satanist, of course. So I was like, you know what? Fuck, I'm glad I didn't click on that show. That was a bait, and they can't get me, man. They just can't get me. So, but the point of me bringing that up is because I do every show that I'm invited to. I think that was the only one.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Well,
so yeah, anytime in the future, man, just let me know.
Yeah.
It was nice to meet you, Sean. Thank you so much for everything. I truly appreciate your time.
Yeah.
You too, man. You guys, thank you for everything. Thank you for spreading the good word and being, I don't want to call it audience of mine, fans of mine. That sounds weird, but being peers of mine that respect what I do. I appreciate that. And you guys are the reasons why I can wake up in the morning and keep going. Cause I know there's people like you that are like, come on, what do you got? What are we doing? Let's make a new film. Let's share it. Let's spread this. Like, that's what I need in my corner. That's the only way I could be successful in this terrible world we live in that's constructed with evil, is to play their system against them, right?
Yep.
And
you guys make it possible, man. So I appreciate you.
All right. Appreciate you,
sir.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, brother.
All right. Nice to meet
God
you,
bless.
Sean. Have a good day.
You too.
Take it easy.